What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about NIO. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what is really affecting it today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So NIO is down 5.53%. Market just opened roughly 20 minutes ago. 475 the low, 488 the high. A couple of different attributing factors what's happening today. So you are having a increased tension between the States and China. And I think that's been one thing that even in the best of times, people have been somewhat hesitant about investing in Chinese stocks. Now, even more so. And this has been exactly what I've been stating well before, even if Trump was going to come in. I was going to say NIO was going to get hit. A lot of people in my comments was disagreeing with me and saying I was wrong. Well, this is exactly what is going to happen. If not, could escalate and get a little bit worse. So yeah, it's definitely not a good time to really go all in because there's a lot of grayness that could come. And that's just from the States, right? There's a lot of other situations that is happening. So China stimulus, I think that's kind of just been on the back burner now. You also have tariffs from multiple different locations. So Canada placing 100% on Chinese EVs, a lot of different crap. And NIO is just, even though they do deliver a hell of a lot of vehicles and produce a lot, it's just gets brushed under the rug. So it's kind of annoying sometimes, but 14.5 million for volume, 66.7 is the average. So today is going to be a fairly heavy volume day. No actual news associated to NIO itself today, no SEC filings, no changes for the analyst expectations for their upcoming earnings on the 20th pre-market. So that could be a good catalyst. So assuming they say all the things that the market wants to hear about expansion, cutting on costs, and assuming as well they also beat on their key metrics, then yeah, that could be a good catalyst for it to really propel it higher. But as of right now, I think the market is just trying to take it down on a technical level, despite the amount of greed that's in the market. So for those of you that are new to NIO, it does get just brushed under the rug only because despite the performance and operational updates that they do give, which are really good, it being a Chinese company, it just gets kind of destroyed, regrettably. Shorts are taking advantage of kind of the grayness and returning around 50,000 shares. 14.07% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 187.98 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average 2.75. Utilization is 91.38. So shorts aren't doing all that much. Again, this is why I like to analyze this type of information, because by shorts returning, kind of shows that it's somewhat unjustified, because going over here, there is roughly around 650,000 shares available to be shorted. So if they really wanted to double down, they could. And just on a side note, you can tell some big players have been leaving NIO just based on this. So typically, if you look at the available shares, if it goes from like 2 million or even lower, it fluctuates because big money gets in and out, and for the purposes of lending out shares. So for instance, the fact that it went from 2 million to where it is now, it does show that some institutions, maybe one or multiple, did sell out and they were lending out their shares. So in my opinion, kind of good riddance, if that makes sense. Some people might disagree with me on that. If that doesn't make sense, I can further clarify in the comments if you have any questions based on that. But moving over to options, 1.88 million in calls, 363,000 in puts. 47% of all the options being done so far today are optimistic and bullish. And of the call options that are being purchased, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $5 range. So you don't see all that much in optimism. You see around that January 17th chain at the 750 strike price, 1,000 purchase for that. So that's kind of abnormal. So some entity out there or some individual is somewhat bullish on that. But looking at the puts, you see a consensus for it to be sub 450. So in my opinion, it's kind of at a very strong pivot. And I think a lot of that has to do with the technicals. Some people absolutely cannot stand the fact that, like, I am not here to sway you at all. All I'm doing is interpreting the data. And I've been stating that it is breaking down on a technical level. Some people can't stand that. And in my opinion, I think that's just, some people are just too much emotionally invested in a stock. If you can't hear any negative news, then that's usually a red flag that you're kind of overdone. But today's kind of essentially the dagger. You do need 2 consecutive days to really kind of confirm a trend, but that 200-day moving average, that yellow line right here, was holding up until today. So it kind of broke below that, as well as the 100-day moving average. So on a technical level, it's kind of pulling back. So not the best at all. And so I'll go over what that does mean and everything, but even stochastic RSI, you're starting to see a bearish deviation. So the orange line above the blue, and then MACD, it's been bearish for quite some time. So essentially, it is what it is. Not a lot of good articles are coming out about NIO. Everything just Trump, 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 and all that other crap. So I think that is going to be a kind of a very big thing to really pay attention to. But even right now, no big transactions on the secondary market. Yesterday there was one pretty much near the tail end of the day, but you can just see, just since the end of October, nobody wants to look at NIO. Ever since the stimulus and kind of the tariffs were back on the table, nobody really is paying all that much attention. So it is what it is. If you do believe in NIO long term, then take advantage of these prices, but without this level of support from institutions, like, shorts are in control. And this is something that I've been stating for a very long time. I've been covering NIO, and I've been saying, without like big money physically buying and adding support, you're at the mercy of the broader market, and the market does not like Chinese stocks. So yeah, it's not the greatest. Even right now, no transactions occurring on the dark pool. Dark pool is often enough used by shorts, so even in that regard, it's kind of just stuck in limbo. Right now, with at $4.75 though, it is trading between this S1 and this S2. So 489 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. 432 is going to be the next strong support. And so ultimately, the Elliott wave technicals I did bring up yesterday is pointing to for it to hit the high 3s next. And so if it does continue to break down, that is the next stop. So $4.32. So let me know your thoughts on NIO. I know this isn't the best situation that is playing out, but are you buying? Are you selling? What are you doing with NIO? And have you been dabbling with options? In my opinion, especially with it kind of stuck in limbo for a while, it would have been advantageous to kind of take advantage and do options, because yeah, I think the writing has been on the wall, even in my private Discord through my memberships, where I give signals on buys and for options and stuff. I even said if NIO was to break, I think it was around that 570 mark, honestly, $5 range is going to be coming next, and lo and behold, here we are. And now the fact that it's on this downtrend, it is going to pretty much escalate and go down so much more. So it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not here to hype you up nor bring you down. I'm just interpreting the data. You guys can take that as signals to buy. So if you are wanting to buy, possibly around this S2, if not the high 3s based on the Elliott wave technicals. But yeah, it's a frustrating stock regardless. Let me know your thoughts though on NIO. Give yourself a shout out if you've been buying, selling, holding, whatever you have been doing. And do you think their upcoming earnings on the 20th is going to be their saving grace? Do you think that the market is actually going to see this as a good value based on this and propel it higher? What's your thoughts? And 2 things I want to share with you though. Take advantage of this promo because it does give you 8 free stocks. Free stocks is amazing, so you might as well take advantage of that. Link in the description below and also the comments. And then aside from that, like I mentioned, I do have a private Discord, so I give buy signals on stocks and options. Highly recommend you popping over there to take a look. It is under my membership, so that is in the description below as well. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.